Well, tensions keep escalating in Israel as the military and Palestinian militants ramp up their exchange of rocket fire. While the conflict in the Middle East seems far from home, it could have implications here in the United States.
We can't put our heads in the sands and pretend that this is not an issue that doesn't affect us. This is an area that if we don't think it's important, we're fooling ourselves.
Air raid sirens wailed in Jerusalem Thursday as militants in Gaza continued their rocket fire at Israel. The rocket exchange has ramped up after the killing of 3 Israeli teens in the West Bank and then the apparent revenge killing of a Palestinian teen in Jerusalem. As Israel mounts their offensive, one local professor says Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu is torn between extremism in Israel.
Some on the far right who want more military action against the Palestinians and want to see them wiped out. The far radical left wants the peace at all costs.
But the Israel conflict extends far beyond the Middle East, with possible implications hitting home.
Israel is a thriving economy. It affects the European economy directly, imports, exports. It affects the United States. American interests are affected by what's going on in the Middle East. I also think that what happens with the exportation of extremism and terrorism is tied to this as well.
Israel's Iron Dome defense system has intercepted at least 70 rockets headed for major cities. But the Israeli military overnight hit more than 320 Hamas targets. Palestinians say the strikes also hit a home and a beachside cafe, killing 8 people at each place. Dr. Jefferson says in recent years the Israeli government has focused on short-term solutions to combat militants, but it may take longer-term ideas and the help of allies like the United States to curb the violence.
Not necessarily inject our own military and our own situation into it, but we have to help guide it in a way and work with the leadership there so that stability will become part of the picture again.
And just today, President Obama told Netanyahu that the U.S. is willing to negotiate a ceasefire between Israel and Hamas. Despite the deep roots of the Israeli-Palestinian conflict, Jefferson believes that, like any other conflict, it can be solved. He said the heart of the matter is whether Israel should be one state or divided into 2, Israel and a separate Palestine. But he says that decision will ultimately come down to the Israelis and Palestinians.